Hey, everybody out there on YouTube. Welcome to the pre-show, the cocktail hour. I'm Jay, that's Aaron.
Heyo.
And that's Tony.
Hello, hello.
Hello, lovelies.
And this is the YouTube exclusive cocktail hour we do before every episode. It's kind of like our off-topic section. To give everybody a little peek behind the curtain, the frequency of our show has changed a little bit lately. We're not putting episodes out quite as much. That's because I've had a career change lately, and my job is a little bit more time-consuming. And as part of that, I've noticed that I'm listening to more music, and I'm less listening to podcasts or talk radio. So something that we don't really talk about on the show so much is music. So I was curious if you guys had any music to recommend now that I'm listening to a lot more music during the day.
Oh my God, you have come to the right place. I spent a good probably 4 years just listening to almost King Gizzard exclusively. Like I just obsessed over that. And I finally hit my, I need to change. And so over the last 3 months, I've been just kind of exploring new music. I got 3 bands I think you should check out. I'm going to give you at least two warnings. First one, okay. I think it's fun. They're silly, they're goofy, little gay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
But that's fine. Thumpasaurus. Absolutely fucking fun. Their music.
Wait, say again?
Thumpasaurus. And
Thumpasaurus.
There's a music video where the lead singer is definitely wearing ashless chaps and marching through a western town. But fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, fun, silly, ridiculous music. Second one, absurdish, Swedish punk rock. The Viagra Boys. Cannot say enough about the Viagra Boys. They are so good, so fun. Absurd punk rock. Definitely taking a lot of very poppy, dancey sounds and punky sounds, and then mixing it with some a little bit more experimental. Their lyrics are a bit more edgy, while at the same time exploring a lot of different philosophical ideas and ADHD for some reason and evolution. But super fun. And then
Vagger?
Viagra, Viagra Boys.
Oh, Viagra. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah,
the little blue pill.
Yeah, sorry. Sometimes I talk too fast. And the last one, and this one I'm gonna have to look up the name only because it's only one song that I really like, but I think it's worth it. Dog Dribble by Get Down Services. It's like a British kind of, I don't know if it's punk rock. It's more kind of low. I don't want to say lo-fi. I don't know how to explain it, but it's kind of like I feel like this is someone in the industrial part of Britain, kind of story singing. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's a jam. It's jamming. It's worth it. It's worth checking out. The Get Down Services. So those are some bands that I've been really enjoying lately.
So like British Appalachia or Chemical Brothers?
I don't know. Chemical Brothers is definitely not Appalachia. I would say it's more it's kind of more industrial. It's a little bit more industrial driving music. The music does never let up. And it's just got this beat to it. And the way the guy's not really singing. He's more or less talking, and it's rhythmic. It's to the beat, but he's not really singing. And I don't have a good example. Just a weird song. And so that one song, Dog Dribble by Get Down Services, I've listened to it at least 40, 50 times in the last 3 months. I love that song.
Oh, wow. I'll have to check that out. You got any recommendations, Tony?
I just realized I'm already an old person, and I've been one for a long time, where it's you don't discover any new music anymore. It's just everything you've had. Not really. Do you like The Weeknd? I liked his newest album.
It's Tuesday.
I feel like he finally accepted the Michael Jackson inside of himself. So definitely many songs on that album had a Michael Jackson vibe, which I really wanted him to do when he finally did it. So that was good, but I don't know if you're into that kind of thing.
Whoa, man, that is exactly what I'm into.
That's really the only new album. That's really the only new album that I've listened to lately, to be honest.
No, I love The Weeknd, but I haven't listened to his new stuff. And the reason why I love him is that he reminds me of Michael Jackson. The first time that I heard him on the radio, I thought that it was like a revived Michael Jackson song.
There's a song, the Thriller song. There was a version of it before. Michael Jackson wrote a song, recorded that over that song, like music, and it bombed. And so they just rewrote the lyrics and re-released it as Thriller.
Oh, damn. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I Starlight. Okay. That was the original name of the song, and that's the original version. You can actually listen to it. It was recorded and published and everything, and it just was a flop.
Interesting.
Yeah. That doesn't happen anymore.
Well, what have you been listening to on your newest adventures of music listening, Jay?
I am, I think, unfortunately, a lot more like you, Tony, where like there's basically the stuff that I listened to in high school and college, and that's pretty much it.
And the stuff I introduced to you when we were roommates?
Yeah, so some Pink Floyd, Muse, Radiohead, the good stuff.
I mean, I do like to... Studying is way too strong of a word, but it's like I like to put on like some latest hits, like pop playlists, just so that like maybe if there's ever a conversation about a newish song, I can halfway know what people are talking about, but it's usually never sticks long enough for me to be like, oh, I'm going to listen to this whole album, or I actually care about a new artist that I don't already care about before.
What service do you use?
I have YouTube Premium, so I have YouTube Music. That's what I use. It's pretty good. Like, its algorithm is actually pretty... I'm sure all the music services are good, but it's like, it's kind of freaky how good the algorithms are when you just pick a song and then let it go.
Mm-hmm. Jay, what do you use?
I also use YouTube Premium partially because that's how I publish this damn show. But like Tony, you can maybe tell you if you have this experience too. But like I was never a huge fan of either Modest Mouse or Franz Ferdinand. But almost any song I start a shuffle with, it's gonna play "Take Me Out" and that Franz Ferdinand song.
Take Me Out is the Franz Ferdinand song. Is it One Day?
Oh, damn it! No, that Modest Mouse one.
Modest Mouse, not Modest Yahoo. Float On.
Float On, exactly.
Yeah, there's so many better songs by that band.
Give it 10 songs, and you can start with Elvis. You can start with The Weeknd, and it's gonna give me "Float On" and "Take Me Out."
I use Spotify. They have these fake radio stations, which are just playlists that get shuffled every once in a while. They added an AI DJ, and I have a lot of complaints about it. But my biggest complaint is this. At first, it was really good. Like, it was giving me a lot of new music and exploring some new stuff. Then I noticed something. It like would come on and be like, hey, we're going to play some music for you. We're going to play some stuff from the 2010s. We're going to play some stuff from the 2000s. Then it was like, we're going to play some stuff that you've been really listening to a lot lately. And it was the songs that it was putting in the playlist. So I was like, hold on. That's not songs that I've been listening to a lot lately. Those are songs that you've been putting in front of me a lot lately. I was like, that's a difference. If I just put you on and hit play, that's not me picking that song to play. You just keep throwing it in there. And so I noticed that a loop started to appear where like it was giving preference to songs it was picking. And I was like, why are you doing this? I've heard literally now this song every time that you start the playlist, you're going back to those same songs. And now it's getting to the point where now it's not even doesn't feel like a radio station. It feels like it's just a big playlist with little AI descriptors over bulks of songs.
That sucks.
It does suck because I feel like all they would have to be is let me write to the AI what I want to listen to today, instead of just hitting play and it being a shitty algorithm. It's not really an AI DJ. Although it does say my name and tell me what band's coming up next, like a radio station. So that is nice.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Because I'm a bit of a Luddite where I really don't utilize AI at all because it freaks me out. But like, is that something you can do? Like, go to ChatGPT and like describe in a paragraph what kind of playlist you want, and then it'll give it to you.
Computer music. No, not that. Something Latin.
Specify.
A mambo.
All right, let's do it right
That's
now.
a good question.
Well,
I'm doing it. We're doing it right now.
woohoo!
We're going live just in Discord.
Going live.
I was reading a good like quote about like AI. Like, people don't use AI anymore because it's like, I want to use AI to do my laundry and fold my clothes while I write and do art. I don't want AI to write and do my art while I have to still wash my clothes and put them away. It's like, so that's why no one's using AI anymore. Or right, unless you're like writing code or making like an itinerary or something like that.
Jay, let's see here. I need you to put together a 30 song playlist for my buddy Jay. And
I want it to be sexy.
he
with some
wants
Spanish
it
guitar.
to be sexy with Spanish guitar. What else? Give me some other things.
I want it to be a little spooky too.
A little spooky. Some experimental jazz. And at least one fight song.
Because I've got a girl coming over, and I want to put her in the right mood.
Well, here's...
hey.
I don't know if you're watching right now, but sexy in Spanish guitar, we got Rodrigo Gabriel. We got Vincent Amigo. We got Otomar Liebet. Can't pronounce these names. The Gypsy Kings. Let's see, Santana, of course. Spooky and Sultry. The Dead Can Dance. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Cigarettes After Sex. Portishead. I've heard that band. Massive Attack. Timbre. Let's see here. Going down to experimental jazz. Go-Go Penguin. Very topical right now. Probably some tariffs involved. So your Flying Lotus. DMX. X gonna give it to you. There's your fight song. Run with the Jewels. Close your eyes. Rage Against the Machine. What? I didn't specify what kind of fight song. X gonna give it to you. He's gonna give it to you. It just didn't say what it was.
You know what? That's me taking my preconceptions into something when I hear the word fight song.
That's also true. And also back to sexy plus weird. So Maria Tambien by Krugoblin. Literally, I bet you could probably then take this, I bet you there's a service somewhere that you could probably just say, turn this into a Spotify playlist.
Yeah, I suppose that's the synthesis of my question of like,
This is not in Spotify. Like I said, the DJ thing sucks because you don't actually get to talk to it. But like, if you wanted to leverage AI to be like, you know what, I really want to change. I want to get into some new music. I want to experiment. Give me a list of like 10 songs. You go make a playlist on YouTube, put those songs in it, and then explore. You could also then be like, hey, I like this song. I didn't like that. I like this song. Can you give me an updated playlist from additional stuff and take out the ones I didn't like? Right? Like that's the kind of stuff that I've been having fun with it. And again, on the art thing that Tony said, I made this statement. I said, you know what? I didn't have the money to hire an artist to create like little drawings or things for little fun things that I wanted to do. But now with AI, I can. So like the guy who was like, I wanted AI to vacuum my house so that I could draw art. I'm never going to draw art because that's not my thing. So for me, AI creating art, it's for me. It's not for him, right? That's how I see it. Is I was never going to hire that fucker anyways to fucking draw my picture because I didn't have the money to. So I'm not taking a job away from him. I'm just actually now getting to do the thing that my imagination wanted to do. So I don't know. I've been arguing with a lot of people about AI because I'm definitely on the pro AI side. Though I admit 25, 50 years down the line, it's all going to be fucking magic because that's how humans are. Like we're just going to forget how all of it works and basically it's going to be tech magic.
I use it sometimes. I like to draw some random things, and you can have it like create a drawing based on your drawing, or like you can tell it what to draw. I use it for like backgrounds and stuff a lot. And the writing tools, I don't know. I feel like I'm a good enough writer. Like I've never really used it to like write me something before, but I see the use. I've used it to make like a little mock itinerary for travel, or like for a trip or something. Just like make me a 2-week trip for these countries. Like it's good at stuff like that.
Absolutely. I think that most people will default to using AI like they used Google. Where's a good restaurant? What is this information that I want to know? Right? I think that AI will slowly just remove browsers. I don't think that will be the way that we get information anymore. And actually, the internet may start to look really, really weird. Like it may not be that we go to pages anymore. So maybe we see everything through the lens of AI. Buddy of mine is a teacher and he's teaching in schools, and like when they were doing like a thing, and one of the kids pulled out their phones like after hours thing, and they like looked up how to do a roundhouse kick because they wanted to do it for a show, a play that they were doing. And like the AI was like, this is how you do a roundhouse kick. Like, you know, that is exactly how people, I feel like, are going to use it.
So how can we as the show prepare for this future?
Well, obviously what we do is we get the AI to pick what the show is based off of what we're feeling. Like say, okay, I'm trying to find a show. These are the things that I'm feeling. And we could actually be like, instead of picking a show, we could all give prompts of stuff to put in and then have it pick 3 shows based off of the different prompts we put in, and we put those onto the wheel.
I mean, eventually there's got to be like a script that we read out loud, and it captures every sound our voice can make and compiles a digital version of our voice, and then we just tell it, hey, I liked this, like I liked the penguin, and tell people I liked it and throw in some jokes. And
I think that's where that's where I think you're going to be right, is that people are going to want authentic people. I think the AI like podcasts will ultimately not be regularly listened to. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know, man. I feel like
supposedly it's already making it way easier for like, not that we're not legit podcasters, but like ones that also film video. Like I think it was
small, yeah,
time consuming to like stitch together the video and the audio portion of like who's talking and when to show them. It's like I think now AI can just straight up like it already knows who's talking and it already knows who's on camera, and it will just like stitch it and edit it together, like saving hours and hours of work, man hours.
That's where I'd say, Jay, we should look into it, is that there's going to be AI editing programs that will be able to basically do the editing for us eventually.
Right. So it'll do the folding of my laundry, so to speak.
And that's where the thing is this. I don't think anybody's going to come out and be like, this is an AI that folds laundry. You've got to figure out how to make the AI fold your fucking laundry. Like that's the problem, is most humans are lazy, right? Like, let's be honest. Tell me how to do that. So I think that's where the fun though is that like I've been playing a lot with AI, and definitely each time that you come out with a new model, I'm like, oh wow, I can see how it's changed. I can see how it's gotten better. And again, some of the text generation is crazy.
I feel like I'm not smart enough to know. Humans, I think AI is going to have to advance us, because why? Like, I can't imagine being a child now. It's like, just think of having a calculator, and they're like, well, you need to do the math. You can't just have a calculator. You won't have a calculator, but we do have a calculator on us at all times in our phone. It's like, what do we really need to know how to do addition, subtraction, multiplication? Like,
here's
we
why.
Can get the correct answer. I know we need to, like, but I'm just saying, like, almost we don't need to.
No, philosophically we do.
Like we won't be making any engineering marvels or anything.
No, snake oil salesman. The problem is snake oil salesman. You need to know that 2 + 2 = 4 and not 5, because how are you going to know and understand the information you're getting? Like this is the problem. AI cannot replace critical thinking. We still have to maintain critical thinking as a faculty, because here's the thing. Why do I want my plumber to take world history and learn about World War II?
The Nazis.
It's so that when fascism shows up at our door, he doesn't think, oh, this is a pretty good idea. So to me, similarly, if the reason you teach math is not, it was stupid for those teachers to say you're not going to have a calculator in the future. Well, joke's on you. It's this. You don't want the AI to trick you, do you? You don't want the AI to take advantage of you. You don't want someone using AI to be able to dupe you.
Oh my God. That takes me back to Star Trek, the original series from the 60s, where it feels like every other episode was about a computer trying to trick Kirk.
Yep.
And we've kind of like just done a 180 on that, where it's like,
dude,
trick me, baby.
Trick me.
I tell
you,
I had like a 2-week period of crazy spam, like high-level spam attempts. Like, one was like, it was so stupid, but I kept questioning it, but like it was like not at foreign people, it was like American people, and they had a really good script, and they even like spoofed a phone number and called me from that number while I was on the phone with them, and it like was legit popped up as a number, and like it was just like really well done, and they didn't get me. But then like right after that phone call, like I got like a Facebook message from this guy I'm in a fantasy football league asking for money, and I was kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever, yeah, right. And then he, like it was his Facebook Messenger account, and then it tried to audio call me, no sound came through. But then it video called me with, it was this guy, like it was a video that was this guy. It wasn't just like a person that looked like him. It was him, and same thing, like no audio, but it was just like a video call came in. And so I'm like, I texted the dude because I have his actual cell phone number, and he's like, no, that's like fake, block that. But like, it's insane what is possible now, I guess. Like, I don't know if, because they tried to do it with him, with one of his friends, is what he said. So I don't know if they like start a Facebook call and record a video when you answer the Facebook call, and they use that video to try the next person, or what, or if it's like they take images off of someone's Facebook profile and then can make a little video really quick with it. But it was like insane, the quality of scam calls lately. It's probably gonna be, I fear for the elderly are already at super high risk, but like it's gonna be impossible for anyone old to fight off one of those like attempts.
Well, bad news for our friends and family, because I think just based on what we've done on this show, like you could extraordinarily easily spoof any
All
one
of our voices.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Probably
we're
just
so
based on one episode.
they say with your family, come up with AI safe word that you never say, like over the phone or anything like that.
Foliage.
So that way, if you ever get a weird call, it's like, this is odd. You kind of say your safe word that they are supposed to say back, right? That is, I think that's prudence. I don't think that that's necessarily, because there are scammers. I'm not worried about Skynet. I think that the people are a little ridiculous. I'm more worried about humans doing bad things with AI than AI doing bad things by themselves.
Oh, yeah, fair.
Allen Iverson?
We talking about practice,
I didn't catch what you said.
Allen Iverson?
not a game.
Allen Iverson. I don't know why I know that name.
We talking about practice?
I think he's a basketball player that his initials were AI. It was a dumb joke. Move on.
Okay.
Moving on.
Fair.
Wait, you think he was a basketball player?
Well, he was a basketball player.
The picture definitely indicated he was a basketball player when I Googled him.
No, you're correct. He is definitely a basketball player.
Well, I was mostly certain, then I was like, wait, what if I'm wrong? Qualifying statement.
Apparently, if truth is metaphysics, if you're wrong, just keep saying it, and then apparently you turn right.
We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
Well, soon it's going to be A1 then, right?
Yeah.
Hey-o.
I love that A1 steak sauce fucking ripped her for that. It is that important. Are we ready to get into this?
Previously on the show.
Excellent. Let's do this.
You guys got anything tasty going on?
You know what? I'm going to join you in the cocktail. Give me 10 seconds.
I've watched a lot of anime.
I don't know why I didn't think that existed. You know, if there's, it's kind of like porn, right? Like if there's a genre for it, there's an anime for it, right?
I have to say that probably, oof, that's tough. I don't drink any of the garbage that's like the Jake Paul era drinks, right? Like anything that came out like post Monster, like I've never tried. I'm not gonna do that. Rockstar maybe, like that's kind of like the end of energy drinks for me. I'm not like once 5 Hour came out, that was a solved equation. We didn't need to go back to that conversation. So like to me, like all this other shit that's coming out, I just feel like it's just like, you know, they're just farming the kids, you know, for views and sales on ads. So I don't know why anybody would drink any of that shit. But again, I make my own Mountain Dew. So like I'd rather be making that right now.
I guess I learned something.
If the Thunderdome's digital, I'm all in.
I got the penguin.
Hello, and you're watching The Show, probably the world's best TV review podcast. Warmest greetings and welcome to episode 75. We are the Baby Carrot Boys, the Bookhouse Boys, if you will, and here today we review the 2024 superhero-less crime drama series from HBO. I asked for pickles and they gave me 2, so a normal amount of pickles is 1. This time on the show, the Penguin.
The Penguin?
I'd like to welcome you inside the broadcast booth. I'm Jay. I'm joined as always by my 2 Hall of Famers. To my left, coming to us live from his cell in Blackgate Prison, it's Aaron.
Huzzah!
And to my other left, Gotham's second most questionable psychiatrist, it's Tony.
Hello. Here
at the show, 100% customer satisfaction is our holy grail. We want to hear from you. Check out our Instagram for news about the show, including our upcoming tour, convention, and cruise, along with plenty of other bonus content. You can find that at the Show Pod. You can send your emails to theshowshowtvpodcast@gmail.com. Once I figure out Discord, I will send you the invite. You can find me individually on Instagram at jsuesponte. Aaron, where can we find you?
On the Muscoverse at Tenacious Aaron.
How about you, Tony?
Find me on Instagram at tpinquite.
The show is now available everywhere podcasts are sold. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Audible, CastBox, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and Radio Public. You can check out our YouTube channel where we do a bonus pre-show cocktail hour. That's at Mandamus Radio. But before we get into the Penguin, we must first visit the unofficial scoreboard. This is the part of the show where we share our thoughts on other diversions not selected by the great Wheel of Randomonium. So, boys, we talked about music in the cocktail hour. You can check that out on YouTube. But anything else you've been diverting your time with lately, apart from the Penguin?
Mine's been games. A new game, if you want a quick little... I don't know, charm. It's like a dark, gothic, southern vibe. South of Midnight just came out on Game Pass. I mean, these are all like Game Pass games, I guess. But that was good. Fun little time. It's more of the story and like the looks on that one. Warzone, Call of Duty, brought back the old OG map, and they introduced a casual mode with like 120 bots and only 28 real people, and that's basically allowed me and my friends to play again together instead of like half the team being slightly worse than the other team, meaning like we just get like wrecked.
Waylaid?
Yeah, so it's basically made that game fun again, whereas like I don't think we'd really played that in maybe 4 years. So that's been good. And Oblivion Remaster just came out today, so I was playing that for a couple hours before the pod. It looks pretty good.
You play on computer or PlayStation?
I play on PC.
Oblivion, like the Elden?
Yeah, Elder
Yeah,
Scrolls 4.
yeah, re-release.
They just like rebuilt it with like way better graphics, and I think they probably did some quality of life stuff too. I haven't gotten too far into it.
Man, that's a blast from the past.
It is. It's nostalgia farming.
I remember when Skyrim came out and people lost their shit.
I remember when Skyrim came out 7 different times and people lost their shit.
People got it on their Samsung refrigerators.
I say that's approaching Doom levels of installation.
Oh, that's coming out soon too. Doom: The Dark Ages looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
Should be
that
coming
does
out
look
soon.
good. I have not been playing any video games for the last couple of months. This has been a very different season of my life. I'm building my Warhammer models. Like, this is a different type of gaming. And I come to report that I have lost every game but one I tied. Not very good yet. But learning, getting the rules down, getting better. And it's a hard game.
You just need a friend of the show, Henry Cavill, to help you out.
You know, he plays Custodes and I play Orcs, and I have a feeling that I would have a very bad time against him. I also did not realize... See, there's this thing in the community. Everybody's like, oh, rule of cool. You should play whatever you think is cool. And I was like, oh, Orcs look really badass. Like Mad Max and heavy metal and all that stuff. But they're a bunch of dumb idiots that can't really shoot very well. So, like, you have a D6. whenever you're shooting, like you have to roll certain numbers based off the weapon profile. So like if a weapon says 3+, that means you roll a 3 or higher, you hit, right? Yeah, most orc shooting is on 5s, meaning that you only hit something 1/3 of the time.
5 or 6? Oh,
Yeah.
that's awful.
Oh, it's awful. And so I didn't really realize that when I first started playing the game, and then all of a sudden I'm shooting a lot, and I'm not really doing a lot. And the other side's shooting not as much, and they're just like wiping out my army. And I was like, oh, orcs are not actually good at fighting. Uh-oh.
Is it balanced somehow of like you do way more damage as like a consequence?
It's mobs. Orcs are a swarm army. Like my battle line unit can go to 20, whereas a Space Marine battle line unit can only go to 10. And so because the game is objective based and there are objectives on the field, each model has an objective characteristic. So it's like King of the Hill. I throw 20 boys into the thing. They throw, 5 Space Marines. I control the objective. But they're just going to mow through me over the next couple of turns, is kind of what I've realized. It's interesting. It's not what I expected. And so I've had to kind of shift my way of playing. Instead of playing a bunch of boys who just get mowed down, I've built a bunch of orc walkers, which are basically like tin cans with rocket launchers attached to them and legs. And those actually hit on 4s, so it's more like a coin flip, right? So it's 50-50 instead of 1/3 of the time. That's a little bit better. It still feels rough when other people are hitting on 2s and 3s.
Aaron, did I ever tell you about the first time that I ever played Warhammer?
You did not. You told me that you played old school Warhammer back in the day at some point, like the fantasy one, right?
Back when it was 39K.
Yeah, exactly. I was
more like
what it was.
1K.
I can't remember what it was called. It was like Warhammer Classic or something like that.
Old World or Age of Sigmar?
Yeah, Age of Sigmar, definitely. And I had an army of high elves, and I had no idea what the hell I was doing. So when I went to the store the first time, my parents didn't know either, and I was just like, those horses look cool.
Yeah.
So I bought some cavalry, and then I went and I played against my friend who he just had some like basic units from like a starter pack.
Yeah.
And like because we didn't know about exactly what you were just talking about the point system of the different pieces, like I was, I had like 100-point army and he had like a 20-point army, and so I just like beat the shit out of him the first couple times that we played because we didn't know the rules.
Yeah.
And then finally we're playing at the game shop, and this like a little bit older kid comes over and he's like, "What the hell are you doing? Like, why are you taking advantage of him like that?" And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then I learned my lesson, and once we even up the armies, I started losing consistently. Because exactly what you're talking about. Like, at each of those armies, they've got these like really intricate strategies that are best suited to them, and it takes some time to figure that shit out.
It's been a humbling experience because it's a lot of losing. The other thing is I feel like I'm getting more superstitious. Like I'm like trying different dice because I'm like, this dice is just shitting on me. I don't trust it anymore.
Is there do you still use like oh god, I can't remember what it was called, but we had basically like a plastic yardstick that we were like constantly measuring shit.
I'm using a tape measure, like a
tape measure,
a straight tape measure, because that's a lot easier to adjust. But there are little widgets that people have that it's 3 inches long on one side. It kind of scoops down, and it's 2 inches on the other side. Then on the broad side, it's 1 inch, and then at a half an inch at the part where it swooped down. And so you kind of have for like small distances and stuff like that to check things, you have that people use. I was laughing at my buddy. He bought some giant plastic chopsticks to try and move his stuff around because he was getting tired of walking around the table to move units.
That's pretty good. I like that.
What about you, Jay?
I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but it feels like maybe the effects of the Hollywood strike are over, because it feels like there was a pretty long period there where there was not a lot to watch, and then all of a sudden, it's like all my shows are back.
Elaborate.
Lately, I have been enjoying the Double Goggins on Sunday nights, and that is a daily double of shows we've had here on the show, The White Lotus and The Righteous Gemstones.
Who wants to suck an old man's dick?
Christy watched White Lotus. I haven't watched the Gemstone
Two great
one.
shows. The new season of White Lotus is done. It was great. I would say just as good as the other two seasons. The Righteous Gemstones is still going on, and kind of like equally great. Like that show just always delivers. And I want to say on our episode for the first season, I had some hot takes about how Danny Bride didn't have a second season. Well, I was wrong, as I am so often. So I'm very, very sorry, Danny.
Wait, hold on. Explain that, because I also felt like the second season was not as good as the first season.
Oh, we're on. I think we're on season 4 of.
Yeah,
Gemstones
I haven't
now?
watched the third season. I was saying the second season was the one with Eric Andre, right?
Yeah.
And that season was
Season 3 and I'd say season 4, like maybe not back to what season 1 was, but not a dud. Like,
okay.
Definitely worth your time.
Okay, I'll definitely check it out.
Oh man! And in the latest season, you get naked water skiing baby Billy, and that is enough.
I did see that as a GIF already, or a short.
Well, as HBO has taken over my world, let's talk about another HBO show. This was a Tony pick, so Tony, please introduce us to The Penguin.
El Pingüino. Yes, so this is following the newest Batman movie, the Batman. I feel like maybe you don't have to 100% have seen that movie, but it definitely introduces you to like this version of Gotham Man. Like it takes place pretty much exactly as that movie ends. The Joker in that movie has destroyed a seawall around Gotham and basically flooded most of the city, especially the poor neighborhoods. But basically it pops up after that. Colin Farrell is playing the Penguin, Oz Cobb, and we follow his like path of ambition to seize power in the city, following his mob boss Carmine Falcone's death. His main, I guess, like frenemy is Carmine's daughter Sophia, who's also trying to take over the family, and there's another like mob family that's kind of on the outs, the Maronis, all these other factions in the city. Basically, we just follow the Penguin trying to kind of like take over the drug trade part and amass power and eventually try to become the kingpin and all the fun he has along the way. He also has this little sidekick kid that he's basically exploits, takes under his wing, Victor Aguilar. We see his journey kind of grow from like a scared, like good kid into like kind of like, I don't know about a hardened criminal, but he definitely is not afraid by the end to shoot people and do whatever he wants. That's basically it. ChatGPT would say, in essence, it's a twisted and enthralling look at the underworld of Gotham, exploring themes of power, ambition, and the complexities of criminal life through the eyes of Oz Cobb.
Did you guys try to watch the Batman?
I did. I watched it before I started the show.
I saw it in theaters. I think maybe I've seen it one more time after that, but at least once in theaters I saw it. I liked it.
I thought it was a good movie. I wasn't super like blown out of the water by it, but I thought that Robert Pattinson did a good job.
Yeah.
My biggest takeaway I remember from the movie was being like, I think it's the first, well, maybe the Tim Burton's, but it's like the first Gotham City that felt like, oh, this is a Gotham City and not like this is Detroit or New York that they're calling Gotham, or Toronto that they're just saying this is Gotham. Like I felt like they did a really good job on, I guess, literal world building, not the lore side, but just like it looked like a real city, like a real Gotham City comic book version.
Immersion.
Yeah.
I read a review of this show that praised it for forging its own visual style outside of the shadow of the Batman. And I was curious because that's something that you mentioned at the end of the last episode when we picked this show, that you liked the way that the movie portrayed Gotham City. So does that extend to how the Penguin depicted Gotham City?
Yeah, I felt like it was more the same. I got less of a feeling of like this is Gotham City. I mean that's just a budget thing. I feel like I really liked when they went into like I thought the production value was insane. Like all the destroyed areas of a town from like the flooding and all that. I thought that was really good, and like the underground tunnel like train system and all. I thought a lot of the sets were great, like the fancy houses and stuff like that. City Hall, like I didn't get, I guess, exactly the same vibe of like, to use the word gothic again, like Gotham felt super like a gothic metropolis in the movie, whereas like it didn't feel as much like that here. But I didn't find myself disliking it or getting taken out of it or anything. It didn't even feel that different, I guess, based on that comment that you read of it being a different visual style. I thought it held pretty closely to the movie.
I think the movie was a little darker visually than the show. The show had a lot more, I feel, brighter sequences. That would be my only thing. But
yeah, the review I referenced, the one thing it called out was that it was constantly raining in the movie when it wasn't in the show.
Oh, yeah. That might have been building up to the disaster of, like, there was just so much water being held back by the flood walls that, like, that's kind of like the climax of the movie is, like, it finally broke free and made it way worse. I don't know if that had to do with anything.
Yeah, it serves the story.
have either of you two watched the entirety of The Sopranos?
I have.
You have. Tony?
Admit to my show sin of not ever seeing The Sopranos. So
Shame.
No, not a sin. I'm just, the only reason I wanted to ask this beforehand, because they're both on HBO, or at least HBO progeny, did you feel, I felt like this was a sophomoric offering inspired by the Sopranos. I did not feel that this came off as a legitimately good superhero story or supervillain story. I felt like it was trying to be too much of a mob show. And again, I think that was what it was trying to do. But I found that the dialogue, the characters, the alliances, they didn't really make a lot of sense to me. I didn't really believe the world. And I'll be honest, like, the Oz, I think that Colin Farrell's performance was phenomenal, but the character of Oz, I just didn't like. I didn't think that he was just a sociopath. Like, him killing his brothers, him killing Victor at the end, like all the different stuff. I didn't care, and I wasn't rooting for him. So, like, to me, this show was one of those shows where I just was like, this is a good show for people who didn't watch The Sopranos, because The Sopranos was such fucking good, like mob TV, like back in the day. I just kind of felt like this was a little weak from a mob perspective. And then because it wasn't really a Batman show, it also was weak from a superhero perspective. And so I don't know. Did you guys feel that this was a Penguin that you were rooting for? Did you find that you liked him? You didn't like him? Like, how did y'all feel about the Penguin as a character?
I feel like I liked him equal to the show. Well, yeah, first of all, like you said, Colin Farrell, like, I had to look up, like, this guy had to have won an award, right? I think he won a Golden Globe for, like, miniseries. Best actor. I was like, good.
The acting
because it was, like, amazing. And a lot of other people in the show, too, like Kristen Milioti or whatever, the Sophia Carmine. Everyone did great across the board. But, like, I feel like the show lost me. I was just loving every minute of it until, like, the Maroney wife pulls up on him outside the club. They're selling, like, the bliss for the first time, and they have him, like, about to be executed, and Victor shows up in the car and runs over the dude. And that basically was a turning point in the show, and I was just like, it got worse. Like, I liked all of it. I felt like, okay, Penguin's, like, likable. Like, he's not a likable guy because he's a villain, but, like, I was rooting for him, kind of. Like, I really liked the dialogue. I liked he was, like, quick on his feet and stuff, and then it's just, like, after that, it's like the plot points just, like, went, like, I liked fine that we did the flashback to her time in the asylum. Like, she wasn't guilty or whatever, but like it's just like, okay, now that she's teaming up with the other guys, and now it's like he's just randomly in the tunnels doing drug stuff, and then like he brings all the gangs together, which is kind of like baloney. Like it felt really tight and great until basically after that episode, which ended with them being about to be executed there, and then it kind of like, not that it turned bad, but I really just, my enjoyment and rating went from like really high to kind of mid after that.
Man, the podcast network has been on my ass lately from our focus groups because they keep telling us that we need to disagree more. But man, you are like reading my freaking mind about this point. And can I share with you my theory?
Do it. Hey, do it.
So the turning point that you're describing, if I'm understanding you correctly, that was at the end of episode 3.
Dang, was it that early? Was it just 3? I feel like it was 5 or 6, but you're probably right.
Yeah, believe it or not, it was 3, where it all kind of culminates, where Vic might go off with his girlfriend, but decides not to, and he saves the day at the last minute in the car, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yep. No, it's episode 3, Bliss.
Yeah, so that's the end of episode 3. Now, I'm no genius. I'm actually quite stupid. But one thing I love to do is look at Wikipedia pages, and one of the easy things to look at in a show is you look at who directed the episodes, who wrote the episodes. So the Penguin episodes 1, 2, and 3, the ones that in our minds were good and tight and had a good story and compelling characters and good action, the 3 of those were all directed by a man named Craig Zobel or Zobel. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I am a huge fan of your work. I'll tell you why. Craig Zobel directed 3 episodes of The Leftovers. He directed Lens, the one focusing on Nora in season 2 with the throwing the brick through the window. Mm-hmm. He also directed International Assassin and The Most Powerful Man in the World and his identical twin brother.
Oh, my land.
The follow-up in season 3. So the 2 episodes that sort of make The Leftovers the greatness that it is, this is the guy who directed it. To take it a step further, if you continue reading that good old Wikipedia page, he was a co-creator of an internet cartoon called Homestar Runner.
Holy crap. You don't say.
So my theory is, one, just that, well, the first 3 episodes were made by somebody whose work I like quite a lot.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, I wonder if this show in some world started off as a movie with those first 3 episodes as that script, and then it somehow got expanded into a show, and we got the jumbled mess that came after it.
I also would like to point out there are only 2 episodes that are written by the same person. Every other episode has a different writer. What the hell?
Like, sometimes that could be where you have a writing room and it's a collective effort and they just take turns taking the credit. But that's not, again, I've never worked in Hollywood, so I'm talking on my ass here.
That's fair, and your ass may be right. But, I mean, I'm sitting over here thinking maybe this thing's a jumbled fucking mess because you don't have one person telling a story. You have fucking 8 people telling a story.
Yeah.
I think the problem for me is it went... I mean, like, if this is a comic book thing, I guess it happens. But it's just like, okay, them escaping that due to a car crash was, like, already kind of, like, suspension of disbelief enough. Whereas, like, not that it's, like, super duper grounded in reality, but everything before that was kind of, like, it was on the, like, I wasn't having to, like, I wasn't having to ignore things that could actually happen. But, like, that's, okay, that's ridiculous. And then every time he gets captured, it's like, okay, they're torturing him. He fakes her brother being Maroney's. Okay, maybe. Then the car crashes, saves him from getting shot, and somehow no one else shoots him or anybody else when that happens. Okay, fine. And then he's trapped in the theater in a chair with the mom. They're just talking to him. There's like 3 people. Like, he starts to get out of the chair, and no one's like shooting him in the leg. It's like he escapes that situation too. It's like there's too many comic book level escapes, which is like it would happen in a comic, but it's just like he got out of too many situations. Other characters did too, but it's just like too many, maybe two too many saves. It was like, okay, there's consequences, but there's really not consequences.
It reminds me of those pitch meetings you used to like, where the guy's like, not a problem.
I love those.
Barely an inconvenience.
I'm sure there's one for the Penguin, yeah.
Like for me, let me ask you, throughout this story, at the beginning, in the middle, at the end, the Penguin's relative power, does it rise and then fall? Does it fall and then rise? Like, it's kind of all over the place, where it's like, oh, is he just like one guy scrapping it out with Vic? Does he have a whole crew of people down in the tunnels who he can summon at will? Like, there was no buildup of his power.
Because how does he know? Is he a botanist? How does he know? Or a fungologist? I don't know what a mushroom. He just knows how to like
mycologist.
He just knows how to grow mushrooms from very small sample sizes and just continually expand them to the level of a huge drug. I think there's a time skip that we don't really fully understand in there too. That's not explained, from him like almost dying, setting up down there, to like he has a fully operational super drug like organization. Like they say it in the show, but it feels like it had to have been several months at that point. I would have thought.
But I feel like that wasn't effectively communicated. And that's sort of one of the things, like that's something that good storytelling does, is effectively communicate its timeline.
Yeah, like a season change. I guess it got cold, and maybe it wasn't cold. Like maybe after that he started seeing people's breath, like when he kills Squid, like when Victor kills Squid, and she's torturing the dude with like ice water or whatever. Like maybe that was supposed to be more effective, but like maybe put some snow in there or something.
Or just a subtitle that says 6 months later.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still I'm kind of like the first 3 episodes and Colin Farrell's performance. It's still high in my mind. Like I always end up on these pods, the score gets lower and lower the longer the pod goes, because I'm like, oh yeah, this and this and this and this. But like, I feel like watching it wasn't that bad. I think is mostly carried by the performances and like the setting. I really like the setting. Like I thought they didn't skimp out on it.
The HBO quality of the production was still HBO quality of the production. I will say though, one of the things that annoyed me a little bit, and again, it gets just back to Sign of the Times. Sofia Falcone Gigante in the actual like comics, she was the hangman. Like she was a serial killer. She actually took over the crime family. She loved her father. She was sent to Gotham or Arkham because of her own stuff. She killed her brother. She took over the family. I feel like they intentionally like feminized her, like destroyed this, relationship with her father and turned him into the bad guy and sending her all off. And I honestly didn't feel like that actually made the story better. I feel like her entire narrative was erratic and didn't make sense at the end as to why she was doing anything. If she's coming in to actually take over the family, that makes sense why she's wrestling with Oz. This weird pseudo revenge / I want out. I struggled to even believe that this was authentic. Like I just didn't believe it.
Yeah, her character was definitely done a disservice on. Like she was absolutely not going to leave. They were going to give her a flight to Italy to go live a ballin' ass life with all their money. She's like, never. And then at the end, she not that people can't change and grow, but at the end she's like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm just going to like pawn off the empire and go to Italy or go wherever country she was about to go and like live her life out, like accept defeat. It was just kind of like they did her dirty, kind of like they didn't let her commit to either one of those things.
They ended up making her actually not a very good character because she actually doesn't, when all this stuff starts happening, she feels very inconsistent as a villain, as a bad character, or as the antagonist here. So I found myself being like, all of this like virtue signaling stuff that you're shoving in here. Again, Gigante is not her mother's name in the comics. It's her husband's name. She marries and she becomes Sofia Falcone Gigante. But we had to do this whole, again, beheading of the the patron so that the matron can take over. I mean, it's just fucking Dr. Manhattan Watchmen all over again. I don't find this kind of alteration to the source material to actually add anything, and a lot of times it's done so poorly, it actually just ruins the characters. I guess that's my sense. I was not a big fan of. I thought her performance. She's a good actress. I think that she's an interesting, choice for this. But I found that the character didn't make sense.
That's where I was free from a lot of like knowledge of. I just don't have a lot of minor Batman character knowledge. Like, I guess I know Batman and the main supervillains. I probably don't even actually know their straight up backstories. Just their gimmicks, their shticks. So
I didn't either. To be fair, it was sitting there being like, what is going on? What is this? The story? Is this actually what the comics were like? And I started reading about it, and I was like, wow, the actual story would have been so much better.
It feels like there was a ton of wasted potential with this show. It could have been so good.
Yeah,
and it just kind of wasn't.
They should have made multiple, like the Riddler, Two-Face, like they should have made it to be like a gang, like territory thing over that, and make it actually like include Batman. I think that it was actually a mistake to not like build it around a Batman Penguin.
Penguin?
I don't know. To me, and maybe Tony, you can remind me because I don't remember this. Why did the Batman just disappear at the end of the movie?
Does he disappear?
Well, he's not showing up for the entire 8 episodes of this show.
He's just one man.
Yeah, maybe the problem hasn't gotten out of control yet with the Bliss.
I guess so.
He's just kind of initially starting out, if I remember correctly, on the movie part of things. I feel like.
No. He is. But I'm saying that like no one ever flies the bat signal. No one ever does anything.
Until the last episode, I guess.
Yeah, until the last episode. But I guess that's my whole thing was I don't know. I felt like it was trying to do something, and I can respect that it was trying to do something, but I don't know. I feel like it should have picked a lane. I feel like it tried to do too many different things. I think Jade said it right. It had a lot of potential, but it tried to go too many directions.
It just felt. I mean, we're talking about Sophia. It's like even like Oswald. Like I think part of those first few episodes why I liked it is because like obviously I mean like he's not morally good or anything, but it seemed like he was just like emotional, prone to outbursts, but he was just barely smart enough to talk his way. Like he was good enough talker to think of plans enough on the fly and say the right things at the right times to keep himself out of it, but he didn't really have like a plan, but he also wasn't like as sociopathic murdery as he became later on. I think I just liked the first version of that, where he's just good enough to somehow like get himself out of trouble. Like he has an overall plan if he wants to get power, but he really has no idea what he's doing. But he's just kind of fumbling his way through it. I guess for some reason I like that version.
He was clever.
Better than like he's always been like he killed his brothers, or like maybe it was an accident, but he definitely didn't tell anybody so they could be saved. And then obviously he wasn't remorseful, and then he kills Victor at the end, which it seems like he's slightly morally teared up about it. But yeah, all the characters kind of just like changed a little bit from I guess my favorite version of them at the beginning of the show.
I really liked his monologue at the beginning about the mobster from his childhood, about how he was a neighborhood guy who took care of people. And if there's a version of this show out there where we watch Oz turn from that into a supervillain, or if there's some kind of conflict within himself of in order to achieve his goals, he has to become a monster, like that would be a compelling show to watch, but that's not really what we ever got.
Yeah, they should have done more of turning him into that, because they kind of like, so they just were way too subtle with it. Like he kind of did that because he gave people jobs and money, and they were rebuilding that neighborhood, Crown Point or whatever, and then he eventually got the power back on. But it was never like, that wasn't part of his thing. Like he was, at the beginning it's like he wants to be like that guy. Like that's his ideal version of power, influence, and he halfway does it on accident on his way to just being a drug kingpin, basically. which is like, yeah, like you said, there's a lot of potential that they could have done with it, and they just kind of left a lot on the floor.
I mean, maybe that's just it. Maybe that's the story of this show, and maybe I'm asking too much of it.
I don't think you're asking too much of it. I think that we're not asking enough of the writers these days, because I just feel that you have potential, you have ideas, and maybe this was half of it. Maybe what you said, earlier, that maybe this show was written pre-writer strike or mid-writer strike. Maybe that's the reason why it gets a little wonky in the middle. Is that maybe those first 3 episodes were written before the strike, and then the rest were written after,
or by different
people.
Yeah,
completely different teams. So again, I think that you need a showrunner. This is where having someone to lead the story, it should be that person plus another person credited. I feel like, if you're going to do it, I feel like this kind of tell story by rotation, it's not working for me. Again, I know directors, they do that all the time. But I don't know.
Writing's different.
I'll have to go back and look at stuff. Directing's different, yeah.
How about the mother character? We haven't gotten to her yet.
Okay, I would like to go back to The Sopranos for a second, because I feel like the mother character in The Sopranos was a huge figure in Tony's life and a huge impact and all that stuff. And I feel like in a lot of ways she emulated some of that eccentric female energy that Tony's mom had, but she was way more off a rocker than the Sopranos mother.
Yeah, I feel like if you subtract the mother character from this show, you might be able to beat the Sopranos copying allegations. But with overbearing mother battling a mental illness / death, come on.
Yeah.
At least make him not Italian. I don't know.
To me, that's the problem, is that when you have the greatest mob show that's ever been created on the same network as this, you need to do something. I don't know. I feel like it would be, I like your idea of how it was like if he's starting off as a man of the people, but slowly, he's just doing that to cover that he's actually a sociopath or something. I don't know. Or that something happens, somebody, the city doesn't turn on the electricity and his mom freezes to death, and now he's out for revenge. At least there's a reason for it. If you're just a psychopath, a sociopath, hooray, defect.
Yeah. Back to my good old Wikipedia trivia games, did you guys recognize the actress who played the young version of the mother?
Oh, yeah, she's Amy from season 1, right?
I don't remember.
I clocked that as soon, and I was like, oh, she
ding, ding. Yes, from The Leftovers.
I think that was her character. I think it was a decision by the team. But I was like, well, she looks almost nothing except for she's a very unique mouth that gives her away. Something about the shape of her lips or something is unique enough for me to clock her as soon as she showed up. Yeah, I was like, me and your dad, and then we fucked on a pile of guns.
Unique mouth broke my brain. Oh, man.
It is something what's the little thing on your upper lip where it does the little M shape on everyone's lips? Does that have a name? Kind of where that groove is, that goes from your nose to the top of your... I feel like that's just
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's called.
It's called the philtrum. Philtrum. The philtrum is the mid groove of the upper lip that runs the top of the lip to the nose.
It's also the powerhouse of the cell.
That's the mitochondria. They drilled that into all of us. You're never going to trick us, AI.
We'll never forget.
We'll never forget that. It's the powerhouse of the cell. I heard a theory that what if mitochondria were actually another single cell organism that paired with something on the planet and symbiosis.
Sorry, anyway.
That's a lot of words.
If those people knew how to read, they'd be very upset right now.
What did you think of the Carmine, or what was the name of the family?
The Falcones and the Maronis.
What did you think of the Maronis? Christian from Expanse, I did recognize her.
I didn't care about the Salvatore Maroni. I'm like, oh yeah. I didn't care about his wife or kids.
I didn't feel like they really mattered that much. I don't know. I like Clancy Brown. I like the guy who plays Salvatore Brown, Morone. I like him in a lot of stuff. But I also felt like he was just like a gratuitous ad. I don't know. Like I felt like his scenes, like he had a couple of scenes, and yeah, there was the big fight there. This felt a little bit like, I don't know if you guys ever watched Spider-Man 3, the one with the Sandman and Venom. Like I feel like Too Many Cooks kind of comes to mind. Like there's too many players and bad guys in this show. I think it would have been better if it was just like Oz versus Sophia for control of the family or something like that. I felt like that the Moroni stuff kind of, I don't know, just added to the kind of going all over the place.
Do you even understand what a conspiracy is? If you conspire with every person that approaches you, you're not even really conspiring with anyone. You're just doing random crap.
Yeah, no, that's a great analysis. It just felt like he was doing random crap.
Like, what was his goal? Like,
I was also kind of like, the Maronis seemed to be some sort of like, they had some sort of code or something. I was like, okay, they got mad because he was doing drugs and they were going to kill him, but they failed. And then they're mad because he kidnapped their son because they tried to kill him. And then they were going to do a trade of the mushrooms for his son. And they got mad because he killed his wife and kid, but they were also like, had 10 guys there instead of just the 2, and they were going to murder all of them. But they failed. So I was like, wait, which one is it? Like, you're mad because you keep failing, or you're mad because he's doing these things? But it's like, you're doing the exact same things to him, but you're mad at him for doing it. It's like, you're worse than us. You're betraying us. It's like, you betrayed him exactly an equal amount of times. Maybe you didn't light anybody on fire, but...
All fair. All fair criticism.
I don't know. You know what I thought was going to happen? And I don't know if it would have been better or worse. Probably worse. Like, I thought her head injury was going to make her, like... have short-term amnesia or be confused about if he really did betray her or like what exactly happened there, and like they were going to keep interacting. It was going to be like, when is she going to remember that he's the one that killed her brother and stuff like that. I kind of thought that was going to be the direction they went when she hit her head.
I think a better show also makes us doubt more whether or not she is or is not the hangman.
Yep, instead of just absolving her from it.
You know what? Yeah, the Too Many Cooks thing. I think you're really onto it there, because it's like they tried to have this be both Sophia's story and Oz's story, and with 8 episodes, that didn't really work.
If you had like 12 or something where you could give characters full flesh out episodes, maybe, but I just feel like it was, and again, I'm attributing this without any evidence to the chaotic writing credits of a different person almost every time. But how do you really tell a cohesive narrative when you have so many different perspectives driving the machine, right? Like, I feel like that's part of the problem, is that the guys who wrote the first 3 apparently had a different vision of this world and the way everything worked than the ones who wrote the next 3 and the next 3, and or 2. So I don't know. I feel that the Too Many Cooks analysis is good because it gets back to both on the writing side, like what story you're telling. It gets back to the character side, like who are we focusing on? And again, the show is about the Penguin. It's like whenever I watched Halo and half of the show was not about Master Chief.
Well, it's also like the main premise of his power in the show is like he controls the drugs. It's like, okay, the Falcons and the Maronis want him dead because he betrayed them. It's like personal reasons. And it's like the drugs is like a small part of it almost. But why isn't the whole city trying to find out the sorts of drugs so they can take over the drug? Like, why are these gangs even cooperating with him? Why aren't they pretending to cooperate and just murdering all those people to take over it's the most profitable crime business in the city, and everyone's just like, well, yeah, you got it, so it's yours or whatever. I mean, please sell us some.
It's almost like he was meeting with a bunch of distributors rather than with other gang members.
I don't know. I always bash it. I liked it. I was like, I like it. I always like shows way less after the pod because it's like y'all always have a lot of good points and point out with a lot of things.
I do not mean to be a negative Nancy. I do not mean to be a Debbie Downer. I also feel that some of the writing in shows lately has been subpar. And I think that it is fair to call it out because I'd like better writing.
It also may be somewhat a function of the different way that we consume these things. Because Tony, famously,
That's true.
you binge it at the last minute, and I typically like to finish with some time to digest it. And maybe this is more telling about me than anything else, but as I digest it, I pick it apart, maybe.
I think that's a good point.
Me and Christy talk it through a lot, like, because she watches it with me a lot. And so you guys definitely don't get my raw opinions. You get my opinions that get hammered out in conversation with her because, again, I have a lot of raw emotions immediately about things, but I also have a hard time framing them. I'm just like, I felt these ways. I don't know exactly why. So I tend to think back, read through, and kind of say, I think these are the reasons why. So I don't know if you do that, Jay, but definitely overanalysis is definitely something I do.
Man, I've given this speech to clients so many times of we're all human beings and we make decisions emotionally even though we don't want to admit that we do, and then we go back and use our reasoning to justify them later. And that's maybe I don't want to speak for you, but that's kind of sometimes how I approach reviewing TV shows, because you react viscerally, you react emotionally.
And I think it's twofold. I think that it's input, and I think it's valid. I also think that you have to ask yourself why. Why am I having any level of reaction? And if it's like this reminds me of something that I dislike, is that really the thing that you dislike, or is it just that memory that's now becoming associated with it? You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
yeah,
those are the kind of stuff that I also think I try and evaluate. I don't know. I just really feel like, and maybe it is a thing of getting older. I just feel like stories. Now, no, I'm going to say this. I'm going to tattle myself. I was about to say I felt like stories 10 years ago or 20 years ago just punched harder from time to time than they do today. But I have to remind myself something I've told many, many times. T-Rex's Bang a Gong and Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven came out the same year. So there's always been shitters and golden boys. It's just getting really hard to find the golden boys.
It's hard just with the volume of
Yeah.
Maybe there are 2 or 3 golden gems of shows out there, but it's just like when you're just like, if there's 20 pretty good shows, it's like, how can you even probably the great ones get lost. Mm-hmm. Unless they're like a worldwide phenomenon like Severance or something like that.
Yeah. A cultural phenomenon where everybody's in on it. No, I agree with you. And honestly, cultural phenomena I think are even more fascinating in this day and age because I feel we're so hyper factionalized with our interest. Like back whenever there were 4 TV channels, you had 4 choices, Now you don't even have to watch TV. You can watch YouTube. You can watch, Crunchyroll. You can go to Amazon. Like there's just so much. And then the content on there is just ungodly how much there is. So yeah, me and Christy watched a movie called Dave Made a Maze. It was a fun little quirky movie, like surreal, dark humor. I'd give it a try. That movie I've never seen advertised before. I've never seen anything. Just randomly stumbled upon it when I was looking through Amazon. So actually, no, Christy found it and showed me a trailer, and then it showed back up somewhere. I don't know. People have always had to sift through the shit to find the gems. I just think that there's 10 times more shit these days.
Time for ranking or rating?
Let's do it.
How many brothers are inside the well?
The water overflow vault.
All right, Tony. How many brothers locked in the water overflow vault was this show?
I think I'm gonna be higher than y'all and go 6.5. The half is Penguin's bum leg in there, but I think it is. I think you made a really good point about it's just like, full disclosure, if the listeners didn't know, I hardcore binged the last 2 days, really even the last day. I think I watched the last 7 episodes all on the day that the pod was supposed to happen. And I finished like 40 minutes before the pod was going to start. So like I'm definitely coming off way of like it's like I just ate a meal and I'm still full and it was like tasty. And I haven't thought about it back too much until I get on the pod versus like y'all, like that was a week ago or however long for you. So I think it's still carrying some of like those initial highs from me. I think Colin Farrell knocked it out of the park in a way that like someone hasn't done that good of a job. It's like you cannot see him at all. Like one that's really great prosthetics, but just like his voice, his accent, it's like I believed every single word he said. It didn't sound weird. I was just like, I thought all the acting was great. Great production value, like Aaron said, HBO quality is not missing, even if the writing maybe the story falls apart a little bit. But so I'm probably going to be on the high end there, riding off those initial highs where I loved the first 3 episodes, but that's where I ended up.
6.5 brothers locked in the flooding sewer. I'm going to come in under that. I'm going to be at a 5 brothers here, and for all the reasons that we talked about, I was a little lower, but I've come up as you reminded me of how great Colin Farrell was in this show. Now, one thing I will push back on was his voice and his accent, because by the end I was so done with his shit.
Ma!
You know, that's not the way the world works, Vic. You gotta keep the turtles moist. They're turning purple. Like, I couldn't do it. Like, go back to Joyzy.
Oh, I've got something after you're done with your...
Now 5 brothers, hit me.
Like, all the acting was amazing except for freaking the psychiatrist doctor dude was the worst.
Dig yourself out of the shit. $29.99.
He was awful.
Yeah.
In a sea of great actors,
Oh
it was
my
like,
gosh, you're
what?
right.
How did this guy get the job? It's like everyone else was great, and I'm like, it was taking me way out every time he talked. It's like, I don't know if he got horrible lines or he said this weird half smile, wide open, like, I don't know. It was
Weird
like maybe that was
energy.
I was like, I did not like that performance. Maybe that's how it was written and he was doing it as they wanted him to do it, but like, that show loses a point right there just for like that one weird, in a show full of great actors, like just like one weird character that was bad.
Yeah, that moment where he's like, Sophia, I've decided I also want to be evil.
I want that same release with you.
Like, who is writing this shit? This is the worst.
Yeah, that oh my gosh, I want to be evil too. That sounds like something that would have been funny satire in Garth Marenghi.
And he didn't go a little bit evil. He was like, I'll murder this small child for you if you want me to.
Well, Aaron, how about you? How many brothers?
I think, following Tony's, I'm going to put the other half of the child with 4.5 brothers in the well. And again, HBO quality, cinematography, audio, landscaping, all that stuff. I think Colin Farrell's prosthetics, I do agree with Jay. His voice got a little bit grady at the end. I do think that Tony's absolutely right. You can't tell it's Colin Farrell. Like that, the makeup, the performance, it doesn't feel, look, sound anything like Colin Farrell. So he knocked that out of the park. Even if his voice kind of started to grade after a while. The psychiatrist, completely agree with everything you guys said. That was ridiculous. How are you not going to know that the girl's going to tell everyone that you took her out into the greenhouse right before everyone died, right?
Yeah.
Like that, again, not a very good mobster. So yeah, 4.5. So we get the whole child, ultimately in the well there between me and Tony. But I think that they dropped the ball a little bit on this one.
See, if you would have gone 3.5, it would have been an even 5 there, right on the mark with Jay. So now we're going to be a little bit 5.33 or something like that. What's 16 divided by 3?
There we go. That's the math man right there. It's 5.3 repeating. So this puts us not at the top or the middle.
Are we on the low end?
We are. Oh yeah, definitely. Like bottom quarter easily.
Oh,
We are tied with White House Plumbers, just below Umbrella Academy, just above Aaron's favorite show, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
some shows get. It's not unfair. It's a proper ranking. It's just like this show is hurt by, like you said, Jay, like all-star levels of potential. That I think that's like even making our scores lower. It's just like what could have been, might have been like one of the greatest shows of the last 5 years if they could have kept that initial, I feel like, vibe and quality. But it's just like because you saw a glimpse of it and then it just fell apart. It's like it really crashed and burned there.
I think Jay's right. It was a movie that was going to be like a franchise, and then they opted to switch. They may have, because of the writer's strike and everything, switched to that. I don't know, but there was a much better story in those first 3 episodes than in the last 5.
Well, shall we pick something for next time?
Let's do it.
All right, on to the wheel of randomonium. I am bringing to the table Common Side Effects, new Mike Judge offering. It is interesting. I've watched the first episode, but I decided to wait to go any further. It's interesting. I don't really want to say a whole bunch, but it is definitely a little bit of a critique of the pharma industry. So, and greed. So that's always fun.
Ooh, like Usher.
Yeah, man.
Sure. Again, I immediately went to the
Fall of the
musician.
House of.
Yeah, when you said that, I was like, what? Really? Okay.
Mine is Andor on Disney. It's a Star Wars. It's a prequel to the prequel to the sequel to the prequel to the prequel. Anyway, like I believe Rogue One is kind of like where they're getting the stars, the plans for the Death Star, and then ends with them like taking it to Princess Leia, right? And so this is one of the characters, Andor, in that movie, but this show takes place 5 years before that. I guess it follows him from him being kind of like a thief and a mercenary, turning into like a member of the Rebel Alliance. Supposed to be really good. I think a second season just came out. I don't know if we would want to do both seasons if it gets selected or just the first season, but supposedly it's like the best Disney Star Wars show, which I guess doesn't say a whole lot, but
I'm thankful that you're not putting the acolyte out.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, I've heard people say that Andor is the best thing that Disney has done with Star Wars.
Well, it makes sense. Rogue One's IP was really strong. Like, you're getting into old IP. I think that a lot of the complaints come from the newer stuff.
Seems to be like a political spy thriller is the vibe versus... I mean, I like The Mandalorian too. I thought that was good. Not that that was a political spy theory.
All right, are you guys ready to... Jay, sorry, got sidetracked for a second.
Skip Jay, he's not going to win. Doesn't matter.
No, I want to know about Nap
skip
Island.
me.
No, I want to know about Nap Island. Tell me about this. Is this just like a Mediterranean Bluey?
Yeah, I've been a bit down about the state of reality lately, and I've been hoping for something a little more positive, a little more escapism wise, and I've heard this show is just some fun in the sun. So, looking forward to it.
Sounds
Is
wonderful.
this a reality TV show?
Yeah, you could say that.
Is this that one, just the sequel of that one show that I can't remember the name of off the top of my head, where it's just a bunch of beach people drinking
Siesta
and fighting
Key?
each other? Oh.
Oh, huh.
Do you know what show I never watched, but if the clips...
I just want to say, I just want to point out, Jay, Siesta Key, Nap Island, Siesta and Nap, literally the fucking same thing. Island and Key, also the same fucking thing. Are you fucking choosing Siesta Keys again?
I've been found out. Yes. Siesta Key, Season 2, on the wheel. Spin that shit.
I hate you so much.
Wait, you're joking, right? Is there not a Nap Island?
That was very clever, Jay. It was very clever. But I got there. I figured that fucking thing out.
Man, I was so close when you were like, let's just spin the wheel and not have Jay explain it. I was like, oh.
No, and again, what I thought it was Bluey because I saw Nap and I was like, what the fuck is this? I don't even know what Siesta Key. That's Paramount, right?
I'm gonna substitute
What?
Siesta Key with Love on the Spectrum because I've been watching clips and it looks awesome.
You liked Siesta Key.
I did. I liked it.
I
That was
spun it.
number
I
one.
spun it. I couldn't handle it anymore.
Let's spin the McConaughey wheel.
All right.
You started talking about.
Is the did you say one of the main guys got convicted of some sort of like sexual harassment or something like that, or is he in season 2?
He was canceled and edited out of, I think, season 3 for racist tweets.
Oh, okay. I thought it was worse than that.
But
I mean, not that racist tweets aren't bad, but
it's been a long time since I've watched it, but I'm pretty sure he's in all of season 2 in all of its glory.
oh, doesn't he mouth off and get his jaw broken? He has to get his
That
jaw
was season
wired
1,
shut? Was
wasn't
it season
it?
1?
Yeah,
that
we
was
saw
season
that shit,
1.
didn't we?
Oh,
At least I thought we did because I remember
man,
that
yeah.
too.
let me Google how many episodes are in here. How much am I?
There's 12.
Only
I
12.
also wanna-
That's easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
I also want to point out, I don't know why, but there's like 3 top rated episodes. I also don't know why they're top rated.
We're just gonna have to watch it and find out.
Apparently, top rated just means over 7.5.
Oh, these are hour long. They're 42 minutes, so that means they were hours long on the television. Wow.
Yes. People sat down to watch this, Tony, back in the day.
This was 2019. It was only 6 years ago, but
Pre-COVID. So, different world.
I didn't actually check to see if this was available on streaming. Let me check.
Oh, that's fucking funny. Tony, what's his punishment if it's not?
it says Paramount Plus subscription. His punishment is some sort of like gore horror show.
Oh yes, Siesta Key, Paramount Plus.
All right. I am going to shit all over this. Just letting you know.
I can't wait. Also, for you and for everybody else out there, while you're watching this show, look up Chloe's social media in the present day, just for funsies.
Okay. Will do. Is it like social media, like on X or what?
I don't even know it yet. I'm probably.
I don't have a TikTok.
Oh,
So.
look at this. People also search for Floribama Shore, Buckhead Shore, Summer House, Jersey Shore. Apparently, this is a whole genre.
Kind of wished it was actually called Nap Island.
Hey, it is going to be some escapism. It's going to be some fun in the sun where you can disengage from all of the world where the health of the country is being run by a man with a worm in his brain. And instead, you can just go down to the beach bar with Chloe and the girls.
Hey, that's fair. I'm probably going to watch this while painting models. So
There you go.
Toy models, not real life women models. Just so our listeners are clear.
I mean, you take it as you wish.
All right, boys. Well, it has been a ton of fun talking about the Penguin, and I am looking forward so much to talking about more Siesta Key on the show. I want to thank both of my co-hosts for joining me here today. It was so much fun.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure.
And until next time, when we're talking about Siesta Key Season 2, available on Paramount Plus right now, we will let the mystery be.
But if anything should make you happy, it's looking at the Western Conference standings in the NBA.
No, Corby.